Last month, Riot sent out invitations to the 2XKO Alpha Lab, which gave players a chance to try out their new fighting game for 2 weeks. Today, we're going to talk about what the game is doing right, what they might need to improve on, and why we at Akshon Esports are incredibly excited to play the game. Let's start with the obvious. The game looks amazing. The shading, the effects, the moves, it all looks really, really good. They've gone with an anime fighter aesthetic that really suits the League of Legends universe, with beautiful renditions of the characters, the backgrounds, and the action. When you swing your axe and kill Ahri from across the stage, it really makes you feel like you're Darius. The game sounds good too. Personally, I don't play with music on, but other guys in the office won't shut up about no, pick this stage, the music is better. So I'll take their word for it. The assists sound great. Landing your hits sounds great. And really immerses you in the action, making for satisfying gameplay through and through. The Alpha Lab had 6 available characters: Ahri, Darius, Braum, Echo, Illaoi, and Yasuo. In terms of character design, they're all spot on. They're rendered with a beautiful anime aesthetic. They have tons of colorways and some really cool skins based on the original game. What's also cool is how their movesets and playstyle remain faithful to their kits in League of Legends. Yasuo fits perfectly as a solo carry character with his oppressive wind wall and long drawn-out combos. Ahri is squishy, but great at controlling space, shining brightest as an assist to come in and rain projectiles. Echo is a mix-up monster, teleporting to hit cross-up, side-switching, and keeping you guessing. Braum is a brick wall that walks towards you, with super armor and the cutest ultimate we've seen. Illaoi is all about setting up tentacles and applying pressure, rewarding you for taking the time to lab out set plays. And Darius, Darius is Darius. For better or for worse.
They got the X!
It feels like we have quite a few fighting game archetypes filled out already, and we're looking forward to seeing what comes down the pipeline in terms of Shotos, grapplers, zoners, etc. Now, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the game. If you've never played a fighting game before, it can feel overwhelming to jump in, not knowing what you or your opponent's character does, the guy sitting next to you talking shit about your mom while he perfects you for the 7th time in a row. The fact is, fighting games have a reputation for having a steep learning curve, and tag fighters are among the worst offenders. As someone who isn't a seasoned veteran of the FGC, this fighting game was surprisingly easy to pick up. 2XKO is a 5-button fighter. You have light attack, medium attack, heavy attack, and special 1 and 2. The first 3 are pretty similar among all characters, while the specials you have to learn for each character individually. 2XKO attempts to bring down the barrier for entry by including universal buttons. Every character's heavy button has a few universal attacks based on what direction is being held. Down heavy is an anti-air, which hits above the character at any airborne opponent. Down forward heavy is a launcher, used to knock opponents into the air. And jump heavy is a cross-up attack, where you can make it ambiguous if you're going to hit in front of the opponent or behind them. While the nuances of each move varies from character to character, this means that if I'm trying out a new character, I'll know what at least some of their moves do. Rather than having to go into training and memorize a whole new series of motion inputs, I can pick Ahri, for example, who I've never touched before, and have the same muscle memory to throw out an anti-air when my opponent jumps. Having universal buttons for universal options is way more beginner-friendly than most other fighting games, and takes down a big barrier for getting comfortable with new characters. The same goes for comboing. For those brand new to the genre, the pulse fuse is a great way to start playing without having to spend time in training mode. You can land a hit and press the same button a couple of times and feel like you're a real fighting game player, at least for a few seconds. But what I really like is how easy the game makes the jump from the pulse fuse to actually combo. 2XKO uses what is known as magic series. Basically, moves combo into each other in an ascending order, and that order is the same across all characters. The basic framework is light, medium, heavy, special. So, when I hit a standing light, I know I can move up the button hierarchy to medium, then heavy, and end with the special, and I can do that with anyone in the cast. With this as a starting point, I can start getting fancy. Since I know medium will always go into heavy, I can replace standing heavy with down forward heavy, which, as we discussed, is my universal launcher button, and knock my opponent up, jumping and performing the same light, medium, heavy special combo in the air. Now, I have 2 basic combos in my arsenal that I can perform every time I land a hit. For new players, this means they can focus more on neutral, spacing, calling in tags, or screaming at their duo partner to please for the love of God burst me out of this combo. The main issue in the Alpha Lab was that the tutorial didn't really teach you this. I get it, the game's still in alpha, but I didn't really learn much except how to press the same button over and over and over while using the pulse fuse. That doesn't translate to actually playing the game, especially if I want to get good. And hopefully the full game goes more in depth with things like combo trials and character guides similar to Street Fighter. One of the unique systems introduced in 2XKO is fuses. Fuses change the way your team operates and help you to fine-tune to your preferred playstyle. In the alpha, there were 5 fuses. The pulse fuse, which allows you to auto-combo by pressing the same button over and over, the fury fuse, which grants you a damage buff under 40% health, and a one-time dash cancel, the double down fuse, which lets you combo ultimates with both your characters, the freestyle fuse, which lets you tag your teammate in twice in one sequence, and the 2x assist fuse lets you use your assist attack twice in a single cooldown. The pulse fuse is a great way to introduce new players to the game. The current debate is whether locking auto combos behind a fuse is good or bad, but in my opinion, it's a good thing. It rewards newcomers for landing hits, incentivizing them to dig deep and learn how to really play the game. The Fury Fuse gives you a comeback mechanic. The damage buff and dash cancel make for some great combos, and one opening can turn around a game. The Double Down Fuse really relies on having the correct team comp. For example, it only works with some Yasuo team comps, so this one is limited to champs who have similar launchers, but it can be great for dealing that killing blow at the end of a match. The last 2 fuses are the most popular. 2x Assist is incredibly oppressive, and was the most popular fuse in the Alpha Lab. With a character like Ari's back assist, this projectile storm from hell, your opponent is forced to hold back for not 1, but 2 assists, all while you lay on the pressure and try to mix them. Finally, Freestyle. This is the hardest fuse to use, but leads to some outrageously cool combos. Under normal circumstances, you can tag in your teammate in the middle of a combo, and you're forced to swap over. But Freestyle lets you tag in, juggle them for a few hits, and then tag back out to the first character, making for near infinite creativity. If you're really good at the game, you can use this fuse as a solo, but where I think it really shines is in duos, where you do your combo, tag your partner in, and they do their combo, and to finish it off, you dap each other up like legends. Fuses are one of those systems that promise to make 2XKO increasingly deep, and we're excited to see what people lab out when the game fully releases. Our only hope is that no fuse becomes too powerful to the point where the others become irrelevant. Another way that 2XKO is making the game more beginner-friendly is by getting rid of motion inputs. Things like quarter circles are just not in the game anymore. That means that the execution is simpler, but it doesn't make it easier. This game's complexity shines through its decision-making. How can I add in an extra mix-up? How can I get the most out of each assist? How can I extend this combo just a little further to ensure a knockout? If you're a fighting game veteran, it feels like there's tons to learn while leaving lots of room for creative expression. And if you're a newer player, the progression of learning new skills feels super rewarding. Figuring out what to do once you land a hit, playing the block, hit, throw, rock, paper, scissors, and experimenting with mix-ups on knockdown rewards you for taking the time to think about what you're doing. Even if you're not landing a 64-hit combo every time you hit confirm, you can still feel like you're making progress. However, one thing that isn't friendly to new players are long, seemingly unfair combos. Sure, the game has a burst feature called Dynamic Save, which is a get-out-of-jail-free card in the middle of any combo, but it's the only option you have, and it takes a while to recharge. If they land a clean hit and you don't have burst, you get to watch a combo cutscene for the next 10 to 15 seconds. But are long combos a bad thing? Personally, I don't think so. First, combos are one of the few forms of skill expression available in 2XKO. You lab out a setup for a few hours, and once you find that niche opening, it feels really good to be able to execute it. If your opponent has 6 different ways to break out of your combo, there's no real reward for all that time spent practicing. But still, for anyone new to the fighting game genre, combos like this feel like an eternity. For those who have played other tag fighters like Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's actually not that long. So it makes sense that the community is divided on the topic of combo length and a lack of defensive options. Where I think this is going to even out is once the game fully releases and people start playing ranked. In the alpha, casual mode was a game of roulette that could match you with literally anyone. If I was setting up on the cabinet and I saw Braum and Echo with the pulse fuse, I'd sigh a sigh of relief. If I saw Yasuo and Ahri with the freestyle fuse, I would Alt F4. But when Ranked comes out, those new to the fighting game genre will be matched against people of similar skill. And that generally means games with sloppier execution, shorter combos, so while many are lamenting Yasuo solo comboing you for half the match timer, things will likely shake out once the game is in beta and it fully releases. After playing the alpha for a few days, I can confidently say that I want to play more. Whether it was playing alone or with a friend or against coworkers in the office, 2xKO felt like a very well put together game. Are there issues? Sure. But nothing egregious. And the bottom line is that the game is fun, rewarding, and with Riot support, hopefully it's going to stick around for a long time.
Shout out and thanks to Cloud, Steph, B, Pass, Shampoo, and Yashichi for being top patrons of the channel. If you enjoyed the video, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is much appreciated. My name is Jonah, thanks for watching.